Hello students, hope all are doing well. So we are going to start with our new chapter, that is the first chapter of this academic year. What I am going to start is a very simple chapter, and the name of the chapter is Human Health and Diseases. So what's the name of the chapter? It's Human Health and Diseases. So it's basically a reading chapter wherein you can read and understand. I will just give a bird's eye view of the same, so do listen. So moving into the chapter, first, what is the definition for health? What is health? See, health, it's a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, and not merely free from diseases. Okay, which means that you are healthy. When do you call that you are healthy? When you are physically fit, when you are mentally fit, as well as when you are socially fit. Okay, so physically, your body is okay, you are not having any complaints with your body, or all the organs are working properly, then you are physically fit. Mentally, your mind is fine, without any stress, without any tension, without any anxiety, without anger. In that case, you are mentally fit. Okay, and socially, when you are fit, so socially, like for example, you are living in a society. So in that society, if everyone in your neighborhood is good, obviously you will be having a healthy atmosphere there. But at the same time, if there are people who are not that good, like for example, if there are people who used to drink a lot, who used to play music at a very high volume, okay, so like that, if you are getting negative neighbors, then automatically what will happen? It will affect your mood, isn't it? So like that, socially also, if you are having a healthy atmosphere, then you are having what? A good health. Okay, so you should be physically fit, you should be mentally fit, as well as you should be socially fit. Along with that, you should be free from any sort of diseases. You are not having any diseases. In that case, you are healthy. Okay, so usually most of the people, when you see, they don't have this, but younger kids, you can see they are physically fit. Sometimes they don't have any diseases. They are mentally fit because they don't need to take any tensions, and socially also they are not that curious about. So this is what we call it as health. So it is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, and not merely free from diseases. Okay, so what is a disease? Next is, what is a disease? What is disease? Any condition which interferes with the normal functioning of our body, we call it as what? We call it as a disease. So any condition, whether it is a working improper functioning of particular organ, or because of stress, because of various reasons, if there is any malfunctioning in our body, normal functioning is deviated, in that case I am suffering from a disease, okay, or a syndrome or a condition not that good for my health. So I am suffering from a disease in that case. Okay, and the next term what we are going to discuss is what is a pathogen. Now, these pathogens can also be called as antigens. You know what is antigens, right? We have learned. So, pathogens, antigens, or we can also give it another name, that is germs. So, whether it is a pathogen, antigen or germ is one and the same. So, what are these pathogens, antigens or germs? If you see, they are the organisms which are disease causing. They are causing disease in your body. Then we call them as either germs or pathogens or antigens. Okay, so basically we have learned three topics, means three terms today. What are they? One is the health, second one is your disease, and third one is your pathogens. So I think it's clear. Now we are moving on to the next slide, that is diseases. Now this diseases, when you see, there are two types of diseases. One is infectious diseases and another one is non-infectious diseases. Either we can call it like that, or infectious diseases can also be referred to as communicable diseases, isn't it? It is communicable, it is contagious, it spreads from one person to another. So that sort of disease we call it as what? Infectious disease. And what is non-infectious diseases? The diseases that doesn't spread from one person to another, we call it as what? The non-infectious diseases. Okay, so these infectious diseases are usually because of extrinsic factors. Extrinsic means what? Factors which is coming from outside, mostly the pathogens. So infectious diseases are caused by whom? It is caused by the pathogens. Okay, that's why this infectious diseases, the factor when we call it is the extrinsic factor, that is the pathogens which is causing the disease. And this disease states that, as the name suggests, it is spreading from one person to another, one infected person to another healthy person, it can easily spread. Okay, and the next one is non-infectious diseases. So what is this non-infectious diseases? It can be due to extrinsic factor, okay, because of some stress, or it can be due to some intrinsic factor. Your body, some of the organs are not functioning properly, like your kidney is not functioning properly, or your pancreas is not producing insulin. So in that case, it is like diabetes. Okay, we call it as non-infectious. Otherwise, it can be also your deficiency disorders, like you are anemic, you are suffering from rickets, scurvy, because you are not taking proper nutrition. So these are all coming under what? Non-infectious disease. So here it can be extrinsic factor, or within your body some problem, that is intrinsic factor, or maybe hereditary also. Genetic factors. Genetic factors means you have inherited some gene from your parent which is recessive, means it is causing some disorders. Okay, parent was also suffering and you are also likely to suffer. Like for example, color blindness is an example for what? Non-infectious. It doesn't spread from one person to another, but it can come from one generation to another through the genetic makeup. Okay, so that is non-infectious diseases, right? So these are the two types of diseases. So hope it's clear. Now we are moving on to this infectious diseases. Based on the causative organisms, it can be classified into 5 types. So what are the 5 types? One which is caused by bacteria, second one which is caused by a virus, third one which is caused by a protozoan, fourth one which is caused by a fungi, and the fifth one which is caused by worms, that is helminthic. Okay, so bacterial, many bacterial diseases are there. Just I have listed 2. One is typhoid and second one is pneumonia. Viral diseases, you have many, like coronavirus now is a viral disease. So other than that, you can find many mumps, measles, rubella, common cold, polio, all are what? These viral diseases. Chickenpox. Protozoan diseases, malaria, amoebiasis is an example for what? Protozoa disease, which is caused by a protozoa. Fungal diseases, mostly it comes to allergies. Ringworms are examples of what? Fungal diseases. Helminthic means worms. Worms are the causative agents for the diseases. So what are that different types? One is ascaris, next is filariasis and tiniasis are the diseases which the worms are spreading. Okay, so these are infectious. It can be infected from one person to that of the another, either through direct contact or to infect droplet infection, or through contaminated food and water, or using the things what the person have used. Okay, so like this you can find it is spreading from one person to another. Now moving on to one by one the diseases we are going to discuss. First we are going to discuss about the types of bacterial diseases which are listed in your textbook. Okay, the first is your typhoid. So typhoid is a bacterial disease which is caused by a bacterium named as Salmonella typhi. So what is the name of the bacterium which is causing the typhoid? It is Salmonella typhi. Okay, and how it is spreading, mode of transmission, if you are speaking about, it is transmitted through contaminated food and water. So it can get transmitted from one person to another, either through contaminated food or through water. Okay, and when it is entering, first it enters, attacks the small intestine, therein it gets absorbed. Okay, the Salmonella typhi, it passes through the blood and spreads throughout the body and causes the symptoms. So what are the symptoms? If you are speaking about high fever, and that is constant, you can find periodically, not like evening only you are having, morning only, no, it you are having a constant high fever of about what? You are having around 40 degrees Celsius, which is very high, and thereafter weakness, yes, you can understand. Stomach pain may be there because it is affecting the small intestine, so likely to suffer from stomach pain. Loss of appetite means you are too tired to carry out any work. Constipation, improper digestion, indigestion is taking place, that is what we call it as constipation. You have means headache, okay, much amount of headache, and thereafter at last stages what happens is that this Salmonella typhi is called saying pores in the intestine. Okay, And these spores, when the cells are getting these spores, so what is happening is that lysis, cells are dying, breaking and dying there, and it may cause the death of the individual as well. So typhoid is not treated at particular time. Okay, so what happens, it spreads, and in last stages, when you see, when intestinal perforation and all starts, it becomes very difficult to control, and it is fatal. Fatal means what? Even it is life threatening, which means you can also die. Okay, so this is regarding your symptoms of typhoid. Now moving on to the diagnostic test, what can be done whether I am having typhoid or not. How can I confirm? I can confirm with the help of a test called as the Vidal test. Okay, and Mary Mellon, this is just an information. Mary Mellon is a cook who was working in many of the places. So she was a carrier of this typhoid, which means that she was much immune, so she was not representing any of the symptoms of typhoid in the beginning stage. Okay, so 6 months she was working in one place, another 6 months in other place, like that. What she was doing is that wherever she was working as a cook, she was transferring the Salmonella typhi, this is the bacteria she was carrying from wherever she was working. So she was carrying, and when she is using the utensils there, okay, so as a cook, you know, she will be getting used to the things of that place, isn't it? So there the people started developing the symptoms, and they started suffering from the typhoid. Later only, when her immune system became weak, after a long gap, she showed the symptoms of typhoid. By then she would have transmitted, infected many of the people where she was working as a cook. Okay, so that's just why this lady is termed as what? Typhoid Mary. Why? Because she was a carrier who was transmitting the diseases wherever and all she was working. Later it was found that she was given the name what? The Typhoid Mary. Okay, this is just for your information. Next, moving on to the next bacterial disease, which is pneumonia. Excuse me. So pneumonia, there are two causative organisms for pneumonia. One is Streptococcus pneumoniae and another one is Haemophilus influenzae. Okay, so what are the two disease causing causative organisms of pneumonia? It is Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenzae. Okay, so which part is affected? Pneumonia, when you are seeing, it's the lungs which is getting affected. Okay, so the alveoli, when you see, you know what is the alveoli. So in the lungs you are having the alveoli inside. This alveoli is what? Air filled sacs, isn't it? So there when this pneumonial infection is there, it is getting filled with a fluid. So automatically when the lungs, the air sac is getting disturbed, so gaseous exchange will be very less, oxygen transfer will be taking, exchange will be taking less. So as a result, what will happen is that it will reduce the efficiency of the respiratory rate. So automatically respiratory rate comes down, there will be a drop in the oxygen in the blood, which will result in breathing difficulties. Okay, so in extreme stages, it is what happens is that your lips and all will be turning grey in color to somewhat bluish in color, and again it is a fatal disease. It can cause death as well. Okay, it is spreading through what? Inhaling droplets. So one person who is having pneumonia, if he is coughing or sneezing, so in the air you can find it will be present, and it can, the person who is sitting nearby can get it, or by using the used utensils of the person who was suffering from pneumonia. So symptoms: fever, you can understand what is fever. The chills means you shiver a lot because of cold. Cough will be there, headache will be there, and severe cases, as I told, what happens is that your lips and finger turns blue to grayish in color. Okay, so these are the symptoms of what? This pneumonia. Next, moving on to the next disease, which is a viral disease. The first viral disease what we are going to discuss is a common cold, which everyone would be suffering in a year one or twice, isn't it? So some maybe many a time as well. So this common cold is caused by a group of virus called as rhinovirus. So what is the group of virus which is causing this common cold? It is caused by rhinoviruses. So which part of a body is affected? Actually it is the nasal epithelium. So the nose epithelium, you know, the outer layer, okay. So the nasal epithelium is affected and it is not reaching the lungs. It will not reach till the lungs. So the nasal epithelium, you can find trachea, till that only it is reaching, okay. It is not moving into the lungs. So these epithelial cells are the one which is getting affected because of this common cold, this rhinovirus, okay. It's not spreading to the lungs. And when you see this, how much time it will be lasting for? It will last for about a week. If you are taking medicine, they used to say that within 1 week you will get cured, and if you are not taking medicine, with 7 days it will take for curing. The thing is one and the same. Common cold, naturally you are having immunity to resist the same, and gradually you can find within 7 days the common cold will be going, okay. So this is regarding 3 to 7 days is the curing time, okay. It will be lasting for that many days and it will go away. For the one who is having good immune system, within 3 days itself, and one who is having a weak immune system, it will take much time, as long as 1 week also it can take, okay. So it is spreading through what? The pens or the books or the cups, cough, and through what is that, sneezing, through droplets and all, it spreads from one person to another, okay. So what are the symptoms of this? Nasal congestion and discharge. So your nose, either it will be closed or you can have a discharge from the nose, much will be flowing the fluid. Sore throat, there will be somewhat soreness. Hoarseness means your sound will turn a bit harder, okay. Cough will be there, headache will be there, and you will be feeling tired when you have what? This common cold. So these are the symptoms of common cold. The next disease, viral disease, which we are going to discuss is dengue. Dengue, you know, it is caused by a virus called as what? The flavivirus. So what is the virus which is causing? Flavivirus, okay. So it is spreading through what? Mosquito. Mosquito is the one who is spreading this dengue from an infected person to a healthy person, okay. So this dengue is a virus and it is transmitted by the bite of a mosquito. So vector is involved here. So who is the vector there? The mosquito is the vector. It is a febrile illness that affects infants, younger children and adults, with the symptoms appearing 3 to 14 days after the infective bite. So for some people it may arise within 3 days, you can find the dengue symptoms arises. Symptoms are just like that of common fever only, okay. And thereafter sometimes it may take around 14 days as well. There is no vaccine and no specific treatment for the same. As such, you have to take paracetamol, antipyretics, you have to take proper rest, proper food, personal hygiene you have to maintain, healthy diet you have to maintain. So these are the just precautions which you can take, or not precautions, the meditations you can take in order to overcome the same, okay. So what are the symptoms? High fever, muscle and joint pain will be there, severe headache will be there, pain behind the eyes. This is the characteristic feature of this dengue, pain behind the eyes, and sometimes rashes develops on your body. So these are the symptoms of what? The dengue fever, okay. Next is your chikungunya. It is caused by a virus called as what? Alpha virus, which is called as what? Chikungunya virus. Alpha virus is a broad category. Under that specifically, it is the name itself is the virus name, that is chikungunya virus. And which is the mosquito which is spreading? Here also it is a vector from one person to another. The mosquito is the carrier or the vector which is carrying the disease causing virus, that is the chikungunya virus. And the name of the virus is Aedes, okay. Aedes, A-E-D-E-S. Aedes aegypti is the not virus, the mosquito. The vector is Aedes aegypti, okay. So that is the mosquito which is transmitting this chikungunya virus from the infected person to a healthy person, okay. Now the best means of prevention is what? Eradication of mosquitoes. So in your locality, if much amount of breeding places of mosquitoes are there, where there is a stagnant water or drains running, see to it that it is properly taken care, either by pesticides or by adding oil, or by introducing the fishes into those places wherein they can eat away the mosquito larvae. So like this you can make what? Control measures. No specific treatment again here also. Meditation is only the thing, okay. And the symptoms, when you see fever up to 104 degree Fahrenheit, which is much higher, you have severe joint pain, muscle pain, headache, nausea, means running nose, fatigue, tiredness, and lighter stages, rashes also develops on your body. So these are the symptoms of this chikungunya virus. With this we have completed two organisms, pathogens. One is your bacteria, under that we learned two. What were they? One was your pneumonia and another one was typhoid. Under virus we learned three: common cold, dengue and chikungunya. Now the next what we are going to discuss is a protozoan diseases, wherein we are going to discuss about malaria.